It was supposed to be a beautiful night. Warm laughter, plates clinking, a home filled with friends. 27 of us gathered in Hannah's house, shoulder to shoulder, around a table overflowing with food. A potluck dinner, vibrant, multicultural, a celebration of friendship. That's what it was meant to be. Instead, I watched my friend stare at the dishes I brought like I had brought betrayal in Tupperware. She didn't say anything at first, but her eyes spoke. Quietly, coldly, and then later, a message. A message that hit like a slap I never saw coming. You were really disrespectful for bringing animal products into my home. And that's when I started to spiral. I'm 22, born and raised in Chile. My culture is deeply connected to food. We don't just cook, we share. We bring pieces of ourselves to the table. And so when my vegan friend Hannah invited us over and said in her message, "It would be awesome if you all could bring plant-based dishes so everyone can try everything," I read that like a friendly suggestion, not a hard rule, not a line drawn in the sand. So I did both. I brought sopaipillas con pebre, fully vegan, a dish that anyone could enjoy. And I brought empanadas de pino, rich, savory, full of spices and meat, a taste of home that my friends had asked for more than once. I labeled them clearly. Vegan, not vegan. I didn't try to deceive anyone. I didn't push it on Hannah. I didn't even expect her to try either dish. I just thought I was being thoughtful, inclusive. But I was wrong. Because after the party, Hannah texted me. She told me I had disrespected her space, that bringing meat into her home, her vegan home, was offensive. That despite the crowd, despite the 20-plus dishes on the table, despite the fact I'd brought something she could eat, I had still crossed a line. I was stunned, because this wasn't the first time we'd eaten together. Just a few weeks earlier, some of us had shared pepperoni pizza in her living room. She didn't eat it, of course, but it was there. No one said anything then. And now, suddenly, I was the villain. And what made it worse? I wasn't even the only one who brought a non-vegan dish. There were at least 3 others. But only I got a message. Only I was called out. Publicly, at that. She looked straight at me when she said she was upset. I apologized, genuinely. I told her I was sorry, that I hadn't meant any harm, that I thought I was honoring the spirit of her request by making sure she had something she could eat, that I'd be more careful next time. But she wouldn't let it go. She kept pushing, telling me it was a matter of values, that I had violated a boundary I should have known was there. And in that moment, I felt completely misunderstood. I didn't grow up with this idea that meat was offensive. In my culture, food is a bridge. It's a way to include people, not exclude them. Bringing 2 dishes, one vegan, one not, felt like the most balanced thing I could do. Especially when more than 25 guests were meat eaters. Especially when meat had already been served in her home before. But none of that mattered to her. Because for Hannah, this wasn't just about food. It was about principles. And suddenly, I was no longer a friend who made a mistake. I was a symbol of disrespect. I started replaying every moment in my head, wondering if I missed something. If I had been blind to a line I should have seen. Maybe I was. Maybe I should have asked. Maybe I should have just brought the vegan dish and nothing else. But at the same time, if her message had been so important, why hadn't she just said it? Why hadn't she written, "Please bring only vegan food"? Why leave room for interpretation? English isn't my first language, and I know American culture can be indirect. People say, "It would be great if," when they mean do this or else. But where I come from, if something matters that much, you say it directly. No games, no guessing. And I'm tired of being told I should have just known, especially when others made the same choice and faced no backlash. Why me? Why only me? Did it matter that I'm from a different background? Did it matter that I brought food from my home? Food she's never even tried? Was I being punished for not aligning perfectly with her values? Or was I just convenient? Something about it felt personal, not just principled. She didn't even try the vegan dish I brought. She just dismissed it, dismissed me. I kept asking myself, if it were really about the meat, why not privately pull me aside and say, hey, I should have been more clear. I'm not comfortable with animal products here. Do you mind putting this away? I would have understood. I would have thanked her for the clarification. Instead, I got silence, then judgment, and it's left me wondering, not just whether I was wrong, but whether this friendship is built on mutual respect or control. I've always believed that friendship requires room for misunderstanding, for grace, for learning. But Hannah didn't give me that. She saw one mistake and made a final judgment. And the worst part? I was trying to be generous. I was trying to be thoughtful. I cooked for hours. I brought food I was proud of. Food that reminded me of home. Food that, for one night, made me feel connected in a country where I'm still figuring out the social rules. And instead of feeling welcome, I walked away, feeling like an intruder in someone else's space. So, am I the asshole? Or did I just make a mistake in a language I'm still learning? In a culture I'm still navigating? Was this really about disrespect? Or was it about someone's inability to communicate boundaries until they'd already been crossed? Was I selfish? Or just misunderstood? You tell me, because I don't know anymore. All I know is, I tried. I truly did. And maybe next time, I won't. This story lives in the gray zone, the place where language, culture, and personal values collide. On the surface, it's about food. Vegan versus non-vegan. But dig deeper, and you find something more universal. The fragile nature of expectations, especially when they go unspoken. What this story teaches us is how assumptions can be dangerous on both sides. The host assumed her values were clearly communicated, and she's not wrong for wanting her home to reflect those values. But the guest, someone from a different culture and linguistic background, interpreted those words through a different lens. And instead of room for clarification, she received condemnation. No conversation, no curiosity, just judgment. And that's where it gets painful. Because when people feel unheard, when their intent is disregarded, we risk turning honest mistakes into lasting wounds. So if you're a host, be clear. If something matters, say it out loud. And if you're a guest, ask questions, clarify. Don't assume silence means acceptance. But most importantly, let's stop treating every social misstep as a moral failure. Let's start giving each other the benefit of the doubt. Because the line between respect and misunderstanding is razor thin. And sometimes, all it takes is one honest conversation to save a friendship from falling apart. So what do you think? Was she in the wrong? Or was this just a clash of cultures? Comment below, and let's talk about it.